Today we're checking out a new KUBEY model. Now KUBEY's been dropping some really good stuff lately. They've been putting a lot of knives that were budget knives into the market. Now this one I don't think ever existed, but recently they dropped the Momentum. If you guys know the channel, I've recommended the Momentum since it came out. It is an absolute banger budget knife. Now they have it in a premium version, which I'll tell you what, man, it looks really sweet. This one is the VERIJERO. Yeah, the VERIJERO. And obviously it has titanium scales, comes in a couple different colors. And in order to keep the price down on this one, we got 14C 28M blade steel. Look at them lines, man. That's a good looking knife. Very, the blade and the handle go together really well. You know, this does arc down a little bit, but just all these lines just work. It looks good. I think it's a good looking knife. And the clip, I'm not mad at it. I love it. I think this is a good looking clip. I know it's not a deep carry clip, but in many cases when you have, and this really shows you about like the attention to detail sometimes with some of the designers and makers, this arcs down right here. So it would have been a bad idea to put a deep carry clip on there because it would have been right into your palm. So they put it where you're not gonna feel that clip. That feels great. Like I said, the blade still is 14C. You can see it kind of has a drop clip point, somewhat of a modified blade shape, as it does drop and then it clips. So beautiful blade shape. I love it. Love that set and finish. I can't tell what this logo is. I don't know if it's a sheep or I don't know what that is. Anyways, titanium blue hardware and backspacer with a nice lanyard hole right there. Great access to that lock bar. Now we're going to talk about this edge here in a second because check this out. We have damn near a mirror polished edge from the factory. And we're going to talk about how to preserve it, how to keep it going and things like that. You know, for people that when they get a knife, they like to try to keep that factory edge going. So we're going to talk about that just for a second because this is, you know, it's a decent edge. You know, the edge came out really, really good. But because of the high angle and the polish, it might lose bite pretty quick. Even on 14C at a high angle with a super fine edge, it can lose its bite. Don't get me wrong. Out of the box, this sucker's got a lot of bite. So as you guys know, I freaking love stroppy stuff. I love it so much that we got it for the NEEVEKNIVECO site. If you guys have been watching the channel, you know I've been recommending this stuff for quite a while now. It's my favorite stropping compound. It's a diamond emulsion. It has great concentration, so it works really, really well, and it's color coordinated. So you never have to worry about cross-contamination on a strop because you know exactly what compound you have on which strop. So it comes in all different microns, as you can see, and now, like I said, they are on the NEEVEKNIVECO site. So you can find them on the NEEVEKNIVECO site. Now the strops themselves, while these are my favorite strops and I love them, the price is just a little too high. I can't justify it. So, you know, I'm just not, we're not gonna carry those. But if you do want to get them, you can get them directly from Stroppy Stuff or possibly through the HAPSTONE link I have down in the description because they have the stuff there too. Anyways, but we do have the stropping compound on there, which is the most important part, the abrasive. You can pretty much get any strop you want. I recommend getting the stuff that's not the furry leather, like not the suede, where it's more the smooth stuff. Now, I like the suede side, but the problem is with diamond emulsion, right? When you put it on, so there's different kinds too, by the way. Let me move this out of the way. So here's an example of like the suede side. Now if you watch, when I put this on here, see how it just bubbles up and then look at that. It doesn't spread really good. Now yes, I can still put it on and it will still absolutely work, 100%. But if I take that same compound and put it on here, see how I can just spread it all around? So a little goes a long way. So that's why I prefer the smooth side for this particular compound. However, there is sprays. So if you do want to use the furry side, I would say get the spray because then you can just spray it on, you know, and then just rub around the access. That does work well too. So it's not a big deal which strop you have. I'm just saying what I prefer. And, you know, there's going to be a little bit of preference to it. But either way, like I said, shoppy stuff, check out NEEVEKNIVECO. Anyways, like I said, the access to the lock bar, beautiful access. Nice chamfer on the edge right there. Plenty of space. Nice lockup. Perfect centering. You got a front flipper that has really good jimping on it. The nice sharp jimping that we like to see, and it does go all the way up to the top. It doesn't go up and around, but it goes right up to the peak, so there's no spot for me to slip over. So perfect. Great job on that one. Now the detent did come a little stout. So if this ever happens to you, one thing you can do is you can take and put pressure on the detent ball. So you just put pressure on the detent ball and then open and close it. What that does is it will knock down the corner of the edge of the detent hole, making it easier to come out. That's just one way. If you're really trying to tune the detent, you gotta, you know, work on the lock bar. But if you ever get a knife that's not smooth and hasn't broken in, you can do the same thing, put pressure on the detent ball and just open and close it. Open and close. Do that about 100 times, and what'll happen is since you're putting pressure on the detent ball, it'll break in a detent track, or, you know, like a path, basically. Anyways, very, very smooth. Like I said, mine did come with a stout detent, but it quickly broke in, so no problems now, but I probably would have said the detent's a little bit too strong for a front flipper, but now, after, that was my fault, after, you know, doing what I said, and then also just flipping it, because, you know, obviously flip it 100 times, it's gonna start breaking in for you. Yeah, man, I like this one. Very ergonomic. You do have this little divot right there. You know, either you can put your middle finger in or both fingers. You know, I do land on this little corner, but it ain't uncomfortable. It's just fine. Pinch grips are gonna be great. Reverse grips are gonna be phenomenal. Like if you're gonna pull a strap or cut a rope or something this direction, like if it's like tied to something where you can't push forward, that's going to be a great grip because you got a nice straight surface right there. So all the leverage goes across all 4 fingers. All right, so let's test the cutting just a little bit. You know, it's not the thinnest edge, or sorry, what I meant to say is the thinnest blade, but the cutting performance would massively go up with a little bit of a lower edge angle. It does have a relatively high edge angle, but it cuts good. It cuts real good, as you can see. I can cut nice thin strips, no problem. Not a problem. Yeah, that's a good one. Let's check out the utility cuts. The tip, you know, it's a little tiny bit higher than the center of the pivot, but it's perfect for you to still get a good utility cut, so no issues with that. So lots of weight relieving, and you can feel it. It's not a super heavy knife. I can feel it's a premium knife. I can tell it's, you know, with titanium and stuff, but it feels good. And the clip, I already put it in and out of the pocket. Works great. These clips almost always do work great. That's the thing. The spring pocket clip, you know, they work. They are very, very functional. And like I said, you know, no problems in the hand. So what are my nitpicks and negatives? So the one thing, like I said, it did come with a pretty stout detent. Yes, it did break in. I'm happy with it now, but you know, it definitely was on the stronger side, a little bit too strong. And I like a strong detent, so you can imagine. But it's good now. Next thing is this sharpening tool and plunge grind. I know they were looking to keep the straight lines. I know they were. I know exactly what they were going for here. And I can't say that I blame them because it does look damn good. And one thing that does benefit you when you do it just like they did here is that, say if you do repeat cuts, right? If you're going whoosh, whoosh, whoosh through cardboard or something, you don't want to snag a choil. So what's nice is if the cardboard, like if it does accidentally hit right here, it'll just slide right into the edge. So you don't have to worry about it hanging up on a, you know, a little divot or a little pothole right there. So I get that, but I would prefer, because when I sharpen it, it's going to, it already has a smile from the factory. Look at that. There's already a little smile from the factory. That's only going to get bigger and more pronounced. And as I sharpen up the blade, it's going to look bad sharpening into this right here. Now, one thing that's really cool is you have tons of room to do it yourself. You can easily take a Dremel with a carbide cutting bit and just cut a little tiny half a circle right there, and it would be fine. You could use a couple other bits as well that would work just fine. So that's not that big of a deal because you can adjust it and fix it yourself, and it's really easy. Yeah, I mean, you do have to take apart the knife and things like that, but for the most part, it's pretty easy to do. I know not everybody can, so it's still a negative. Other than that, the only other thing I could say is the price. Man, this one's tough because it's really good. I love the materials. I personally like 14C. So this exact version, I think it's like 140 or something like that. The other ones are like 120 something. I think 120 is good. I think that's a good price. I think between 100 and 120 bucks is good for this. We did see them do, what was it? The Titius for, what is it, 100 bucks. And some people got even more affordable than that because they had sales on it and stuff. So, you know, this one, maybe a little bit more went into this one. I don't know, being a new design and all that. I don't know, but, and also, I don't know, paying it a designer, you know, I guess that does add a little bit of a cost, and I get that. So, I don't think the price is outrageous. So I don't think it's an absolute negative, but I think they're pushing the limits. I think they're up there right now. So I would say, you know, it is on the higher side of things. I would prefer it to be in the $120 range. In the $160 range, I expect to get a better steel, put it that way. So, and that's not far off from 140. Not that anything is wrong with 14C, but it's just, you know, the point, right? Another negative is this edge looks like it was buffed a little bit too far. I do appreciate the polish. I do appreciate it shining and looking all good. But with this high of an edge angle, while 14C, it wound up coming out really sharp. This is very sharp and has a lot of bite. But I just know steels, and I know with this buffed of an edge at this angle, it's going to lose its bite pretty quickly. So it's going to kind of be a double-edged sword where it's going. I'm going to need to strop it more. And even though the problem was, you could kind of think of it as being overstropped from the factory. But now in order to keep up with it, I'm gonna have to continue stropping, or you can just hone it or resharpen it and, you know, put your own edge angle on it. But, you know, I think they just over buffed it just a little bit too much. If this had a lower edge angle, it would be perfect. But because of the high edge angle, you know, it winds up being a little bit buffed too much. Now, one other thing, and this is only going to affect 10% of you. So 90% of you won't care about this, but this is not a lefty-friendly knife. You will get death lock. You cannot open it. I struggle even pinching it open. The detent's just a little bit on the stouter side, so it's not going to be easy. You're going to get death lock. Righties, you're all good. But, and you know, lefties anyways, there's no clip flip, so, you know, I doubt this would be something you would invest in anyways. But if you were thinking about it, because maybe you like right-handed clips, this is not going to be a lefty-friendly knife. But yeah, I'm loving it. I'm loving it a lot. I think it's great. I do have some nitpicks, but in my opinion, no deal breakers. The price thing, that could be a deal breaker depending. I don't think it's too outrageous, so I don't think it's an absolute deal breaker, but it's definitely pushing the lines right now. So work hard, stay tough. Until next time, peace.